So, let's dive into some of these questions. Chris, why don't you hit us with the first one?
Okay, great. We typically get a lot of questions about asking, is the Democratic Party going to shift left? What are the Democrats going to do after this? Blah, blah, blah. I figure
the same
I'm
thing they've been doing.
Those. Let's try to cross the lines here. This is from Frank. This is going to be about the issues that can bridge the divide.
Hey, Chapo. A while back you mentioned that you thought an easy win for Biden might be something like cracking down on spam calls. I was thinking about it, and I think another one would be unrigging sports. Whether sports are rigged or not, it doesn't really matter. I think that it would be a popular policy nonetheless. My question is, what are some other easy W's you think politicians are leaving on the table in the vein of those two? Thanks.
So yes, 80-20 issues, things that everybody can get behind, but nobody seems to want to approach.
Well, thanks for the call and question, Frank. I very much like your idea about unrigging sports, regardless of whether sports are rigged or not. I think there's a lot of votes to be left on the table. I mean, one group of people that we have not seen hauled before Congress and read the riot act to are the damn refs, the crooked fucking zebras. And I think they need to be given a stern talking to by the people's representatives in Congress.
I think if you look at most opinion polls, the popularist ones, 90% of people like refs, and they would like it if they were made, like there was a diplomatic immunity thing where insulting one is a felony.
Mike Donahue, like a Super Bowl, drawn and quartered, like grizzly, like brutal, viscera.
But yeah, I mentioned before, the caller was responding to, ending death penalty for people who do scam phone calls. And, I guess my only thought adjacent to that is phone calls are but one area of the mega scam economy that is popping up right now. So crypto bullshit, phishing scams over email. I mean, and a lot of these are based outside the United States. So military intervention may be required, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What are some big popular issues that we can get on board with here?
I always fantasize about stuff I would do if I was a senator. And one thing I would do is haul Google before Congress and be like, look what happens when I say, should I inject bleach into the vein in my cock? Look what the AI says. I think using their investigative powers for that, why does all this suck so much? Something to address why email is unusable now. Some type of law about how many email addresses can be stored, how many marketing emails can be sent.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I cannot. Functionally, I cannot use my email anymore,
right?
Because it's just 17,000 unread messages. 99% of them are just all bullshit.
How many people listening can relate to this? You saw, it's out of all the insane probability, in 2019, you saw an article that was kind of interesting to you on some bullshit new website called Puck, one of those places that Julia Geo writes for. It was some article. It was the guy in the Kremlin who is giving Putin Chad surgery, and you're like, oh, that's kind of I'm not into this Russia this Kremlinologist shit, but that's kind of interesting. I'd like to read that. So they're they put you through 8 splash pages to sign up to read this article that actually ends up kind of being really shitty, and you totally forget about it. But for the next rest of your life, you get 10 emails a day from fucking Puck, and you eventually figure out how to go take an afternoon and unsubscribe from 100 websites and services exactly like this. But 10 more pop up in their place. There's no end to it. And if it was just a generalized law on data collection, just to make the internet more usable, generalized laws on targeted ads, I think just both out of convenience as an 80-20 issue and just as a child safety issue would be incredibly popular.
I mean, I would go even further and just have a blanket ban on all advertising. Billboards, TV ads, pop-ups. I think advertising is satanic, and I think that if you want people to know about your product, just tell people about it. Well, I hate commercials. Commercials are evil, and I think it would be a 99-1 issue if we used federal authority to just ban advertising.
It's very possible that all racism in America currently, not historically, obviously, but currently, everyone who is racist now is racist because of commercials. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not even saying I understand it. I kind of don't, but I do. If you're already an angry guy and you just want to watch a YouTube video that's like the 10 gun lies in John Wick, and by the acclaimed Marksman, your favorite channel, and you're too stupid or too poor, no offense, to pay for YouTube Premium, and then you see like a Perplexity or a Grammarly ad, and it has all these different races of people, and you're like, this is who's ruining my life. And then you elect Trump. That's where it comes from.
Adjacent to my proposal to ban all televised advertising, I mean, maybe you still have radio jingles or print advertising, but no billboards, no televised advertising of any kind, okay? As a sort of corollary to that, like my other big idea that I think could basically, an 80-20 idea, probably the only people opposed to this would be executives at media companies. But what's a big problem now is like everybody has too many fucking streaming services. And you want to watch something, you're like, what's it on? Is it on Amazon Prime or HBO Max or Hulu or, any one of a dozen other weird one, Tubi, Freebie, QB? It's just like everything. There's like the catalog of movies and television shows are divvied up between like 5 or 6 of these mega streaming platforms. And then like they have one show that you want to watch, so you have to subscribe to it. So similar to my idea at the end of yesterday's show that the internet should be operated like a public utility, basically like public television. I think there should be 2 streaming platforms owned and operated by the government, of which citizens will pay a minor fee for, sort of like similar to like a co-payment on universal, like a co-pay at a hospital or something like that. But it would be a universal streaming services. The services would be one service that is movies that stores and makes available for purchase or renting or just, watching if you pay like a small monthly premium. All movies ever made. Certainly every American movie ever made. It's like the Library of Congress. The other one will be television. And it will simply store and provide to you the ability to watch any TV show that has ever been on TV or is currently being aired on TV.
The Elizabeth Warren, is it like one cord?
Yeah, exactly. 2 streaming services, and then maybe like another one called books. Maybe there could be like a physical location where you could go and sort of rent a book that you wanted to read.
To that end, one idea that I've had for a while that I think you would have to do it universally, but I think it would be surprisingly cheap, and for a lot of people, like maybe they wouldn't need it, but it would end up having very good ripple effects socially.
Yeah,
I think similar to one post office per every zip code, there should be one federal gym per zip code. A very nice.
That's a good idea. No, that's a good idea.
Well, I think whenever you're in like a low income or even just like one of those very sad prefabricated suburbs you see next to some slurry pond in Ohio that isn't necessarily poor, but just sort of like, fucking desolate. And they have like one Lifetime Fitness and it's always crowded. I think if you to just one in every zip code, and it's not an Equinox, but it's like as nice as a Division III school that has a football team that's sandbagging that really should be Division I. Like that kind of a gym. 16 dual power platforms, that you can do Olympic, weightlifting, deadlifts, a pretty good track, cardio room, rooms where you could do, heavy bags or Pilates or whatever the fuck. To put it in every zip code would kind of cost a lot, but I think the ripple effects would be more than worth it, and it would solve the problem of like, what is there to do? Where can we go? What activity is there besides being in the Warriors for a lot of young Americans?
I've got one before we move on. A law that says the total value of the merchandise must exceed $1 million before you can put a locked plexiglass screen in front of it in the aisles of a commercial store.
That's a good one.
That is a really good one. Free all the deodorant and toothpaste from CVS. Or better yet, just have government for Walgreens.
Yeah.
Zoran has the idea for government-run grocery stores. There should just be like, this is the thing, just nationalize everything. Like, movies and television shows will now be funded by taxes. And then when you stream the fruits of your labor that you're paying to invest in these movies. The royalties from them will go directly to the writers, actors, craft services people, everyone who made the movie, and not a single dime will go to greedy studio executives.
I mean, I usually don't like these kind of questions because it's like I think the question itself that we're responding to is great, but I mean the question I'm about to pose, where it's similar to when you want to nationalize healthcare, and they're like, what about the pieces of shit on the phone who tell you to die? But this is a group of people I actually do care a lot about. Will, how will you employ the now unemployed Ray Donovans?
Oh, wow. I mean, the Hollywood fixer, I mean, like they could be just solving problems for regular people. It could just be sort of like, like a private eyes and fixers, but for not for David Zaslav, who needs to dissolve a body in acid or throw a woman in a garbage can. There are regular people that need to do that, and they need help.
Okay, I like this. And presumably, if this was all happening, this would be like, if not our military dictatorship, one inspired by our ideas, the new Ray Donovans could be paid the same amount or more to prevent a business plot.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.